We live? Yes, we are. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm back here with another movie review live. Once again, doing a live stream. I'm today doing one for War for the Planet of the Apes that I recently saw today. Forgive me once again before I start giving my opinion about the movie. Of course, this is all live and there's nothing I can control. If any disturbance or thing happens while I'm in the stream, it's all completely out of my control. If you saw the last stream that I did a couple of days ago, you can tell how true that really is. Now let's get into the review. War for Planet of the Apes came out on July 14th, 2017. Director Matt Reeves, and mainly the whole plot goes that Caesar, played by Andy Serkis, is in the battle between apes and man, finally deciding who will be the conqueror of Earth, ape or man, and even, I believe, going into the deeper question that I think these movies have been trying to bring, just like similar to how, if you've seen the movie Blade Runner tries to bring, what does it mean to be human, and specifically with this one, what makes apes and man so different now, how one is clearly becoming just as smart, and even in some respects, smarter than them. This is going to be my 100% honest opinion. It's completely unscripted, so forgive me if I mess up anything. I can be very nervous, forget the things I say as I do this all live. I have no control of anything that happens, but also, too, if my parents or anybody walks in, like I said, I can't control it. It just happens. So let's get into this. The Planet of the Apes reboot series started back in 2011 with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I remember watching that. Strangely enough, I grew up watching all three of these movies now that I realize. It's such a weird thing because I love the Planet of the Apes movies. I've seen all of the originals, even the crappy Tim Burton one I remember watching, which wasn't that good. And clearly the original ones, despite how, specifically the first one I think out of all of them, despite being a fantastic movie, like I always say about remakes and reboots, like most people, usually don't like them. Sometimes, most of the time, it's obvious. Like, I'll say 90%, because especially nowadays, like 10% with stuff like what Disney's doing with their reboots, they can do a fantastic job and really respect the original source material. Most of the time, it's pretty damn obvious. They're doing it for money. It's clearly for money, for profit, all that stuff. By the way, hi everyone who's live. Thank you for watching. Sorry I'm doing the live stream, the review. If I don't answer you guys, I'll answer you guys and read your comments right after I give my review and everything and stuff. So let's go back into it. And Planet of the Apes was one of those examples where they try to do the whole reboot of the franchise, or mainly just do a remake, specifically back in the year 2001 when Tim Burton tried to do it. Instead, they'll try to weirder take, Tim Burton being fucking Tim Burton, which is surprising because especially I realized nowadays, ever since I saw Planet of the Apes in 2001 that he did, his quality in movies, so he has released, in my opinion, some, at worst, good, decent movies, have been really going down with the quality when we were originally given stuff like The Nightmare Before Christmas and the freaking original Batman movies. He was so responsible for bringing this dark style to the Batman movies that will later even be revamped and even perfected with the Christopher Nolan movies, which is crazy. Now he's given us stuff like Planet of the Apes, like I said, the 2001 version, and now finally we go back into the year 2011 where they try to reboot the series again, now creating a different story, telling everything completely different, but being more connected to the original source material by just, specifically, it gets very confusing, honestly. There's a part where I don't know exactly how to explain it because the story is clearly its own. It's not, a straight-up remake of the original. It's trying to tell its own version of the story. Mainly, it seems to be more in its own style prequel of what happened before, apes took over the planet. But what it does, to honor the source material, like a lot of the original characters' names, like Caesar, Cornelius, I didn't want to mess that up, I thought I'd forgotten. They bring them in just, in different scenarios and with different characters to sort of reference and honor it, and there's even a lot of references to the original, specifically, I believe it's the original movie that they reference out of everything the most, with a lot of scenes and a lot of sequences that goes down with a lot of the details and, props. How can I forget that name? I told you, I forget things like props that they go throughout the movie. And this is finally the conclusion of that. It finally came out. This is supposed to be the ending, especially with a lot of stuff that happens that goes down, which I'm not going to spoil in the movie. Of course, it's still out in theaters. That seems to obviously now be the ending of this entire trilogy that now it is officially now. And what do I think about it? I never thought I would say this. I think it's even better than the last two. This was a fantastic movie, in my opinion. It did everything well like I wanted. Even more, and even completely different from what I expected. So here's what I originally thought. I'm going to give my thoughts on what I originally thought, how it was going to end. So like I said, it's very hard to explain these movies. As you can tell, I'm having a difficult time doing it. Because as I said, it really is more connected to the original and clearly has a lot of details and little things that they bring in. And even in the story and the timeline of these movies, they're bringing a lot from the original movies back from 1968 date to, I believe, 1975. I believe the last one came out with the fifth one, which is when the quality started going down, blah, blah. But, you know, we're getting back into that. And which I thought what was going to happen with a lot of what the promotion and the trailer was giving us, I was expecting, and my friends and I were mostly agreeing on, that this was going to be the movie where, so in this timeline, just like in the original, was going to connect back to where the original started, where Ape was ruler of man and man was practically all extinct, or the remainder of man was just like Ape and originally, you know, just surviving and smart in their land, can be very wild and doesn't really have social norms anymore and is more of a wild creature in nature. And while Ape is more of man, you know, having culture, society, government, religion, all that kind of stuff. And I believe, though they clearly already had it, more of it, it was really in the end just them creating their new world and more of their kingdom, I would call it, or their little ape civilization. This will finally be the movie where it was going to be practically them becoming human, and apes, like, spoiler if you haven't seen the original ones, where they would either be becoming mutants or the cavemen like humans that we see in the originals. But it seemed to be completely different and not at all what I expected from it. It went for a completely different way. I don't want to spoil exactly what happens to humans and to the apes, but it is amazing. Going and exactly what happens in the movie, how I felt, it was such an emotional experience, a lot of it, maybe because I'm a crybaby, but I'm not gonna lie. I did cry in a lot of moments of this movie. It gets very sad, okay? Maybe because I'm an emotional piece of shit. But you know what? If you don't cry about this movie, you're... Well, I mean, they are apes. So I guess I can't say you're not human, because the whole point of it is talking about what it means to be... This is fucking hard. So yeah, but honestly, though, this was a fantastic movie. I had a great fun throughout the entire way of the experience. I went with my mother, that she was also personally a fan and got me into the Planet of the Apes movies. When Rise of the Planet of the Apes came out, I wasn't aware that there was even such thing as the original Planet of the Apes. She was the one that told me to, and she was so excited to go watch it when the reboot was first going and telling me, oh, this is now like a reimagining of the original one that I watched as a little girl back in, because my parents are from Peru, when they would watch it on TV, and it was such a fun time for her. They even had like a TV show, which I didn't even know, and like a cartoon, and she would watch that too in the original movies. And the, you know, the famous twist where, I mean, if you don't know this, I mean, come on, it's like, if you watch my movie reviews, you should like movies, and this is like iconic. Oh, it was Earth all along, and, you know, it wasn't a different planet. It's just, it was Earth, and it was destroyed, and they took over, and crap like that. A lot of great stuff, and this was finally a reboot, and them reimagining and retelling the story, and she took me to go see, and I finally learned more about the franchise. I watched the original. I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched the original, it was like my reaction to Blade Runner that I recently saw in Space Odyssey, which I put it in that weird section of very deep philosophical movies, where, you know, this one was the least out of them. You know, it wasn't very, like, how would I call it, very weird, the way I call it, very strange compared to, you know, most movies that you see. It's very, like, you know, hard to explain. The story's very what I call the open for interpretation kind of movie, where if you've seen my terrible Don't Hold Me, I'm Scared explanation, it's a perfect example. Those videos were very deep, have a lot of meaning, but it's very open, you know. It's not straight up explained to you or told to you by characters. It's a lot from around the movie with the things that happen, and it's just supposed to have like a deep meaning to it, like Space Odyssey. Though from what I've got about it, because I'm not gonna lie, especially Space Odyssey, when you guys know I love movies, and especially this year I've been discovering more directors and that I've never heard of before throughout history, and trying to discover more old movies that I've never seen. One of them was Space Odyssey, and that really boggled my mind the first time I saw it. It was such a deep movie, it was crazy, and it was such an open... If you've seen like stuff, especially if you're on the internet a lot like I am, if you guys have seen those weird stuff like Salad Fingers or Don't Hum Me, I'm Scared, this is practically the OG of those in cinema. You know, it's very deep, it's not very easy to understand, you have to explore a lot, read a lot, try to, you know, understand more about open for interpretation, understand, you know, characters that represent things, or, you know, representations of things throughout society and stuff. It's very deep stuff that really confuses you if you go too hard on it, and it bothered me a lot that I couldn't even get like normal stuff throughout my day done, because I was just thinking about, what the fuck do these movies mean? It's so weird. And Planet of the Apes was kind of like that in the original one, but this one seems to go for a more different style. It's really more of a story while going with the deep storytelling, having a lot of fun action, crazy adventures as these apes try to live in their own world. And very different from the originals is that they're clearly just trying to live on their own and just be at peace. Well, the problem is, if you've seen the other two, which I'm expecting you have, this is the conclusion of it, I'm not trying to spoil it too much, man has clearly now been going downhill. A lot of men have been dying, because what made the apes originally smart in the original was it was the medicine, right? of course, I know it's like, you know, something that the scientist made, the actor James Franco, that he created in his lab, but pretty sure it was medicine that was originally the beginning of the movie, that they were trying to define nature and find ways to cure, you know, usually incurable diseases such as cancer and stuff. And his father, who was originally dying, he was trying to find a cure for those diseases that were usually just believed to be just a thing of life. You know, they were going to die. They're trying to defy that, and when they did, it created chaos and instead made apes smarter, which was the ones they were testing it on, and just made them highly intelligent and killed humans. So a lot of humans have died, and this is supposedly supposed to be the battle of the humans that are left in this one. And this is an amazing experience throughout the entire way. It's way deeper than the, you know, very simple, like how I explain it. But like I said, just like how the Space Odyssey movie is, it's a lot of deep philosophical, and even it's up to you of what you think about the movies and its ideas. So if I explain it, I'll confuse you guys, like I feel like I kind of am right now. It's not gonna make a lot of sense. It's really up to you guys what you think about the movies. I thought they were amazing, though. Like I said, I got very emotional throughout the movie, how amazing it was. Maybe because the fact I grew up with these movies, I cared more about it. But a lot of crazy stuff happened with these characters and the story, how it all ends up. It's a fantastic movie throughout the entire way. And this is one of the first movies I'm honestly going to say, though usually most of the time I will say Planet of the Apes, the original 1968 one, is without a doubt a 10 out of 10. It's a great movie, but especially, like I said, for me, what I consider 10 out of 10s are the ones that made history. What do I mean by that? Ones that changed cinema forever, or pioneered things in movies, and stuff that inspired or has, you know, inspired many movies and filmmakers nowadays. And, you know, a lot of things wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for those movies. To keep it simple, there's a lot more to it, but it's practically, you know, the main basis of what I consider a 10 out of 10 movie most of the time. Planet of the Apes was that. But even with that, this being a reboot, and like I'm gonna say, kind of like what I said with Spider-Man Homecoming, I love the movie, but, you know, it just didn't define anything. It didn't change the world or anything in movies, or like culture or anything. You know, it wasn't a big impact. It was just a great movie, great story, great acting. Andy Serkis, as usual, you know, he's very famous for, you know, doing these CG character acting, which also would surprise me. As you guys know, the Planet of the Apes reboot series is famously known for all the apes being CG, and it's surprising how these being CG apes, that they practically barely speak any English, so they're supposed to be smart. You know, they have their own language. That's how they're intelligent in their way. You still care for them and a lot what they go through, and still can understand them. It's very surprising, especially since, you know, most of... Oh, crap. Sorry if you saw that. Whoop. Sorry, I just got the alert of that my battery's low. I'm streaming this on a device. So, what was it gonna... Fuck it. That just made me blank out. Okay, so what was going on mainly, you know, how deep the movies can get, and no, I didn't think that was it. Fuck it, I hate when that happens. I just forget my entire thought process. Well, yeah, okay, there it is. Like I was saying, it's a very fun, deep movie that you're gonna have a lot of great time watching. I really think you all should give this a chance if you haven't seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies. And like I was going to say, despite it not changing cinema, I personally thought this was better compared as a whole, the entire trilogy. Because just like Planet of the Apes, like I said, the original one's great, but there were 4 other movies. I don't think those 4 other movies compare well to the original Planet of the Apes from the 1968 one. And this one, in my opinion, the reboot series, all 3 for them at worst for me are solid stories, are solid movies, everything is enjoyable. Andy Serkis does a fantastic job doing this, and now I remember what makes it amazing that they're all apes and you can still care for them throughout the entire movies without practically not getting any dialogue. A lot of it is what you call movement, I've heard the name for it. It's movement storytelling, you know, from what they do and their actions is how you get the story and understand what they're trying to communicate. Though they do add subtitles, you know, when they do their language, which is mainly with, you know, hand gestures and stuff, or, you know, noises that they make with their mouths, and, you know, they give the subtitles. But like I said, that's practically the entire movie when the apes speak, aside from Caesar, which is the smartest one of them all, who can speak mostly like a human. There's a lot of more stuff that happens in the movie, but like I said, I don't want to spoil it, and I don't want to mess up what I'm explaining because I'll confuse you guys. It's a really fun, deep movie. Great action, fantastic effects, like all of the 3 movies did really well. The acting, like I said, surprisingly is amazing for being literally most of the time just apes. Kind of like how in A New Hope, Chewbacca can surprisingly be such a lovable character without ever saying a human word, an English word, or an actual language, just him growling. It's kind of like that. It's very interesting how you can care so much for those characters. I'm going to give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I personally think this trilogy as a whole is a fantastic one, and I think compared to the originals as a whole too, I'm not saying the original one itself, the OG first Planet of the Apes, is better than the entire original series in general, because the other ones started to fall on, like a lot of people have said, including me, what I think they clearly then just started doing it for money, because it was a successful series. And that is not to say, despite I enjoy these ones more, I do not still respect the original one for what it did. It was very important, like I said, for its time, for a lot of things that it did that inspired and was even responsible for a lot of big things, and creating a chain of events that would help the movie industry and change it for better or worse forever. Like, for example, fun fact, I love reading some trivia because I love movies myself. It wasn't for Planet of the Apes when it came out in 1968. Fox, which was original distributor, if I'm correct. If it wasn't for that movie and its success, Fox would have never decided to give George Lucas a chance to finally release worldwide the original Star Wars, or aka the way we know it now, A New Hope. Thanks to the success of Planet of the Apes, they finally realized and thought, hey, if this movie was successful, then maybe fantasy and science fiction movies do have a chance. If this one was clearly successful for us and good, we'll give you guys a chance. Let's see how well you do. And as you guys know how Star Wars is now, it's a decent franchise, it's not one thing I'm obsessed with my entire life. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, this is, in the end, I'm sorry to get off topic again, as usual, I ramble a lot. It was a fantastic movie, and I hope you all get to watch. Please watch it in theaters if you haven't seen it yet. It's a fantastic one. I saw it today. As usual, I'm a bit late. And if you don't even see it in theaters, what I'm going to say, even without just, but when it comes on DVD and Blu-ray, not even just buy that movie, buy the entire trilogy in general if you haven't seen it. They're all three of them, in my opinion, are fantastic. It's going to be a great fun to watch. The entire story is fantastic to watch. It's great fun. I don't really know what else to say, because like I said, I don't want to spoil too much of it, because if I go deeper into them, I'm going to be spoiling a lot of things in the story, and I might even mess up since all of it's unscripted, so it's just going through what I think of and how I say it, it's just all blabbering. The best way to say it. That's pretty much it though, guys. That's my review of War for Planet of the Apes. I hope you all enjoyed this review. Quick little update. I know I'm sorry that I've been uploading a lot of stuff aside from, I think, a couple of days ago. I haven't really uploaded a lot in gaming. I've been very busy because literally a couple of weeks ago was my birthday, and after that happened, I was spending more time with that with my family, since I had a lot more things I want to do, a lot of things I purchased. I want to spend more time, for example, finishing games that I purchased and stuff, crap like that. And especially I wanted some personal things I want to get done with, so that put a lot of time to put a pause on the stuff I was working on when it comes, for example, to gaming videos. I'm finally gonna be back on track though. I have a lot of fun gaming videos I want to show you guys, I'm gonna upload soon over the summer. Summer is almost sadly coming to an end, like I think less than a month away from going back to school, but I'm trying to upload everything that I can. I have a lot of fun always doing these movie reviews for you guys. I actually have 2 more movies to review, because fun little story, the main reason I saw War for the Planet of the Apes today, because while I was going to wrestling, because I do wrestling for sport. I was walking, and the main thing that I love to do, especially this year that I've done a lot, now that I'm a big boy and I'm allowed to, oh god, it was so bad. Now that I'm allowed to just go and walk to the movie theater that I have in my area, my little neighborhood, that is a dollar theater that most of the time, a month after a movie is released in the regular theaters, we get it there and it's, of course, way cheaper than the original price. It's $3. At max, it's like $8. When it's like a really big release sometimes. And this one, surprisingly, for some reason, I realized walking there, they were releasing big movies that were still out in theaters and barely out for like a couple of weeks. The other 2 movies that I'm going to watch there, without counting Spider-Man Homecoming that was also playing there, which I couldn't believe, is Wonder Woman and Dunkirk, which I've yet seen, believe it or not, which I want to review both of those. I want to review all the big summer blockbusters I'm interested in for this summer, which I think would be a lot of fun when it comes to movie reviews. Soon I am going to be getting into classic movie reviews. I want to do, classic retro movies that, have already been out that I personally love. Stuff like Star Wars before The Last Jedi comes out that I really thought would be a fun idea to do before the Episode 8 finally comes out. Or the Christopher Nolan Batmans. Or even the old Superman movies. There's a lot of the Alien that I was actually, when I did the review Alien Covenant, I was going to upload. But long story, I'll explain that another day maybe. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. All I want to say. I have a lot of videos in plan for you guys that should be coming out. Hopefully, if I can, by next week. Especially a lot of fun gaming videos from a lot of new games that I got. I think you guys will really enjoy. Thank you all for watching this review. Sorry if I rambled a bit throughout the way. Like I said, it's all live, completely unscripted. It's all just out of my head. Thank you all for watching. If you all enjoyed this, remember to leave a like, share the video if you want. Go see the movie. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. I don't know what else to say. Have a great day, guys. Thank you all for watching. See you guys.